Okay, this time I'm going political. I moved and I can't dance anymore. I don't have my mirrors, so I don't have my dance partner. I still got Santa though. Anyway, I was on MSNBC.com and reading the online article about gays in the military and appeals court extends life of gay military policy discussion, blah, blah, blah. And I posted a couple opinions in here. Um, Went back and forth on the issue with this one guy in particular, Larry, who posted something about not everyone being fit to serve in the military. The government, the military is not an equal opportunity employer, and makes a comment about perhaps they should guard the border instead. And I posted back, Larry, in pursuit of a reply-worthy posting, what leaders in history are now known homosexuals. I came across the Wikipedia history of homosexuality. I came away with the knowledge that A, homosexuality is as documented and historical as mankind itself. That B, the belief that the earth was flat or that Salem housewives were actual factual witches, horrendous acts have been imposed on homosexuals out of ignorance and unrealistic fears, and that in the year of my high school graduation in California, 1975, that California legalized homosexuality. How nice it became legal in a state to be who you're born to be. Oh, and one response came up with Alexander the Great, and even that Abe Lincoln lived with another man briefly, but I have no verification and make no assertions based on Yahoo replies. Hugs. I also had posted something about sooner or later someone needs to sit down and rewrite a few things, military laws, Bill of Rights, to accommodate the new world. I'm getting the impression from some of his posts that he's retired military that has not been enlightened to the new world. Because he wrote, I would guess you would be in favor of writing a new constitution also. Well, most of us like the country the way it is or has been in its grand old history of how it was meant to be by our founding fathers. People who do not like it are welcome to leave. I wrote, I'm not in favor of writing new anything. It's become apparent, though, that much needs to be after 9/11. Freedom of speech is not. Internet security issues from division allegedly being over and done in Iraq by summer of 2003, which came from a general, to looking at us now in 2010. I wrote, think that 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tours will be enough for those who feel the need to keep good, able bodies willing to serve out of the military. But my post this morning was my best, in my opinion. I wrote that the initial point on this thread has come up repeatedly that the gay community and the military want to tell everyone. Shove it down people's faces, inflict their lifestyle. They're the first not to want to have an issue made of it. It is the military's issue and the issue of those who say these very things. It has been pointed out that it isn't a matter of asking or telling, but simply living. A dinner, a show, a barbecue, a grocery store trip, a wedding invitation, your promotions and medal ceremonies. To have the one you love beside you without issue, question, fear of reprisal. If anyone thinks living under that constant fear isn't not by choice, to continue to choose to put your country first at the risk of more than just your physical life, but your home life, your acceptance in the community you believe in and serve, I'd say they're the braver in every way. They signed on to take the same risk to serve plus risk all that they personally hold dear. Note how few are posting in these sort of forums. They can't speak for themselves in the situation because of the situation. Again, the top brass and Obama need to turn the tables. No ifs, ands, or buts. No wishy-washy. Not safe to come out yet. Okay, you can come out. Wait, don't do that. It's not safe. You harass, you do anything against anyone in the military based on race, religion, or sexual orientation, you now lose career, rank, retirement. All those once persecuted for their beliefs should be the first taking up for this, where the ones waiting it out can't. Jews, blacks, women, not many who haven't been persecuted by your average straight white male. So literally the summation is the advisors to Obama, advisors to the military, advisors to Congress, and then Congress, whoever it takes, instead of arguing who's in charge of this decision, needs to make the decision to turn the tables and realize that the hate mongers, the gay haters and bashers are the minority. That in this day and age, you obviously need able, willing bodies, and that these are the braver of the bunch. If they enlisted as gays in that environment and have had to live with the fear of discovery, besides going over and serving and putting their lives on the line, they are the braver. They risk every day of their career, not just their deployments. So if you turn it around and you literally say, okay, now the hate mongers, the ones, you do anything based on religion, sexual orientation, race, your career's over. The same things that apply to the gays, if they were discovered, should be turned around to anyone who harasses or does anything to damage a career or another military member based on those issues. That's my opinion. And I think we could save a whole lot of money. I understand millions are being spent now to try to figure out why more military members are committing suicide, taking their own lives. Besides laws like this that make it extremely difficult and put so much stress on people unnecessarily. I'd say from 2003 to 2010 and ongoing, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out why. America is not made of the same things that people in the Middle East, and yet we've sort of crossed mentality lines, I guess, as far as capabilities, in the name of homeland security and war and everything else. That one of the things I talked to a general once that would write me, and I had said way back then that a lot of military members, it was like they were deciding they wanted out. They didn't want to go back a third, fourth time, that they wanted to watch their sons or daughters grow up. And they had a wife, that said me, or the military. This was way back when there was still sanity. And they wanted out. And I said something about it, and I got this reply that he had just left Bethesda Hospital, and they're, oh, Ron, they'd go back again and again and again, and they're willing to serve. Well, when you have a God walk in a room, in that kind of environment, in a veteran hospital, in the military, hoorah, yeah, I'm gonna go back. I want to be just like you. You're a God. You're everything. And you have this brave face. Well, when everybody's left and the balloons are down and the media's cameras have folded up and that veteran is laying there, minus his legs, in the middle of the night, and thinking about the fact that he's never going to run with his little Susie in an open field again, or someone who watched his friends being blown away, his former high school football buddy is now gone. A whole different mentality takes place in the middle of the night, in the quiet, when we're alone. You cannot keep saying that they are brave and they want to. How many people go around, hey, how you doing? Oh, I'm great. Susie just graduated college, and everything's great. And then, gee, you find out that the son was a heroin addict, and they're on the verge of divorce, and the man was having an affair. It's people that show one face and live another, and it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure those things out. So, as opposed to the balloons and the baskets and the oorahs and everything, I think sometimes somebody just needs somebody to crawl up in that bed with them and hold their hand and say, cry. And I know this would take a lot of macho backlash with that theory. But you know what? Once you put forth the billions in trying to figure out why the suicide rate keeps going up, I think it's pretty clear cut. At any rate, if it goes on and on, then why the hell aren't you taking able bodies and securing it for them to serve? They really are the braver of those in uniform, because they took a risk the minute they signed on.